Hi, I'm Insomniac and welcome to my channel. This is just kind of a one-off or maybe a few off, it depends the information I find, but I recently did an Ancestry and 23andMe DNA kit. They were bought in the sale. The Ancestry was bought kind of Mother's Day sale, so that was kind of like March time, April time. Actually no, it's the other way around. The 23andMe was bought Mother's Day, March, April time, and the Ancestry one was bought Father's Day time. I think maybe around sort of like the 5th of June or thereabouts. So I got my Ancestry results back. My 23andMe I'm still waiting for, but for me, although the Ancestry part was like kind of cool, I did it more for health related reasons because I suffer a lot from fatigue. I have mental health issues. I have issues with sort of like fatigue and pain and a whole host of health problems, and so I thought, well, the doctors have done so many blood tests, they haven't come back with anything just yet, except maybe a couple of deficiencies, which have been addressed and haven't really made much difference. So I thought, I know, while I'm waiting for 23andMe, I'll look to see what other websites I can upload my raw DNA to and find out more information, be it for free or a small fee. And that's when I came across Promethease. I think that's how you pronounce it. Well, anyway, so I did that maybe about a week ago, 5 days, maybe a week ago. Yeah, and that was $12.99. Don't know what that is in the UK. Cheaper, anyway. For me to upload my Ancestry DNA to it, and literally it said it would take 20 minutes to read, or I don't know how it works. I think you upload your raw DNA and then it just like does hits of all the genetics, like it just like cross-references it with what you've got, and then anything that's different it lets you know, and on Promethease, if you're not familiar with it, it can give you things that are highlighted in red, which are bad. They can affect you negatively. Green can be a protective or positive effect. Grey can just be factual information. Say, for example, it may say your genetics show that you have a likelihood for blue eyes and blonde hair, or, that kind of thing, or curly or straight hair. Which, funnily enough, I have the genes for both. So that's a little funny. But it can tell you sort of like what you're at risk of being a carrier with, or what can affect you as well. So I thought for $12.99, like dollars, that's a really, really good price to pay, like, for them to check all of those genetics. And the reason why I chose Promethease as well is because with 23andMe, I think, don't quote me, but I think they test anything up to 80 things, and that includes your carrier status and anything that can affect you personally too. So, oh, the picture's gone a little bit blurry. I'm not sure what's happened there. That's better. Sorry. So yeah, so I did that. There were some surprises that came up. The funny thing, I guess it's not funny, it is to me. I've actually got one green protective thing that says it lessens my likelihood of bipolar, but I've like got 4 other reds for bipolar that puts me at a higher risk, and then there's lots of greys that show higher risk but not yet enough proof to put it under a red. So I was basically screwed where bipolar was concerned. Like, there was no way I was getting away with not having that. But I guess if you have both of your parents have it, then I guess that puts you at a super duper high risk. And then especially if They say nature versus nurture as well. Well, my upbringing had a lot to do with it too. So I guess even if I had the perfect upbringing, and you know, it wasn't so bad. There were difficult times and bad times. Really difficult things I had to work through. But I mean, people have had it a lot worse too. So I mean, yeah. So whichever way, even if I would have like grown up with a mega amount of money, had whatever I want whenever I wanted it, and no stress factors, I still would have had bipolar, most likely. So yeah, it's a little annoying. But I've also got, I think, 3 risk factors heightening my risks of sorry, am I just this weird thing then? Schizophrenia. Now, for those that follow my health blog, you'll know that for quite some time in my past, like when I've been assessed for bipolar, well, for mental health issues, and they've drawn the conclusion of bipolar, at one point when I was staying in a psychiatric unit, they actually did think that I had schizoaffective disorder. They believed that for some time. And then I think after about sort of like 5 weeks, they sort of relented, like, actually, no, it is more related to mood than thought, even though it affects both. So they ended up diagnosing me with bipolar affective disorder type 1 with psychotic features. So that was what they settled on. But at first, where I was so ill, they thought it was drug induced, and they were taking samples, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna sue you. I want a written apology. Oh, I know my blood's come back and show no drugs. I can't believe you think I'd do something like that. It's like, oh god, so embarrassing. I was like proper manic at the time though, so that explains like that behaviour. It's just so, to think back on it. Wow, I've gone off topic. So back to Promethease. So yeah, there are a couple of genetics that had me. What's going on with my phone? I'm trying to get the information up because I can't remember all of this. Like, so I took a screenshot of some of the things, which I'm not going to show. I'll just say. So screenshots. Where are we? So one of the genes that was worrying me most. Let's go back. That could actually explain, because I've had low folate. They're not sure on the B12 at the moment. It's come back at 340 when it should be between 190 and like 950. So it's at the lower end of normal, but that's total B12, not active. So not a lot of that may be active. We just don't know. I'm waiting. Well, I need to ask for that test actually. I'm just looking to see if the intrinsic factor, it will have any antibodies, which could indicate pernicious anemia. So yeah, this is one of the things. No, that isn't. Sorry. Oh, where is it? I'm looking for a particular. That's one of them. This is one of them. So the GS192 comes under that. I'm gonna call this a Samuel L. Jackson gene. That's what I called it to my mental health team that I saw on Tuesday when I had my antipsychotic injection. I called it the mother gene. So yeah, that's why I call it the Samuel L. Jackson gene, because it does look like it says that. It's like MTHFR. I mean, come on, like how can someone not spot that? Well, it says here, it says those letters, and then it says polymorphisms affecting homocysteine. You have a combination of 2 SNP variations in the which influence homocysteine levels. Please forgive me if I pronounce anything wrong. I am not in the medical field. This is found in under 20% of people. 0.8% of people that had a double copy of a mutation in one of the SNPs had a single mutation in the other. So I think that's what's happened to me, because mine's the GS192, And then it says here the GS193, which I do not have, indicates double mutations in both SNPs, and people with this are believed to be critically impacted. However, several Promethease users have self-reported this genotype with no apparent consequences. So, the magnitude of this is 2.9. It's under the red and bad. When I did read up on that particular gene, it does say that it can affect absorption of B vitamins. So, and that is something I do struggle with. So I don't know if that is a cause of some of my health problems. So I don't know. It also says that I'm 4 times more likely of an increased risk of rheumatoid arthritis. That's on the RS9268839 gene. It says GG. I don't know what the G bits mean. It says here G, well, it says that with 1 G, was the variant most strongly associated in Europeans with risk for rheumatoid arthritis in this GWAS study of 30,000 patients. The magnitude of that again is 2.9. I think the magnitude, the highest, I think the magnitude only goes up to 4, I think. So, it could, you know, it's not a tiny risk of something. This is the one that bothered me the most, actually, because this is quite high. This isn't like sort of, the one I said a minute ago, the rheumatoid arthritis, that's 4 times higher than the average person. But this on the RS180223, and then in brackets GT, says I'm 1.3 to 11.5 times more likely to have an increased risk of autoimmune thyroid disease. Now the strange thing about that is, when I've done, there's this thing I did, this biochemical, bio something feedback, I can't remember what it was called, but basically I sent off a little bit of hair, another one I did fingernail clippings, and they basically run it through this thing, and it says like if you've got any intolerances and things like that, and it also says if you've got any imbalances or a word beginning with D, deficiencies. And one of the things it did throw up was that I had an imbalance, a 90% imbalance, it was high, of T3. Now, I've had my, is it TSH, so the thyroid stimulating hormone or something like that. I've had my TSH done. I've had my free T4 and T4. But they've never tested my T3. All the other ones have come back. I think the TSH, one of those thyroid ones, it came back basically 1 point higher than it should be at its very lowest. So like, say for example, it should be 12 and up. Mine was 13. So, I mean, that is what I would call borderline. I would call that borderline. So actually, maybe I should bring that up with my GP. I don't know. Well, I'm kind of confusing this video because I'm going into my health and talking about the Promethease genetic thing. But it is to do with health, isn't it? So I guess that's okay. So those ones were the ones I was really sort of like worried about. And this one as well, actually, on the GS298, it says increased surveillance for colorectal cancer recommended. So they're basically saying that this genoset detects the 10% of the population having either 3 or more risk alleles, or 3 at-risk genotypes at 3 SNPs associated with colorectal cancer. That puts a person at a 3-fold higher risk than a person with 0 risk alleles. sorry, I don't know how to pronounce these. If you're able to kind of like spell out how I'm supposed to pronounce this, or I might just check it out after. Should have really checked it out before. But if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I will look at a video and I will try to remember to get it right next time. Sorry. So it's on par with someone who has a first-degree relative with colorectal cancer. Oh, that's high. So it says that basically I may benefit from the age of 40 upwards, a colonoscopy every 5 years, starting from the age of 40. So that is something I do need to bring up with my GP, because there was another genetic thing that I read further along. Oh, this one. I think this is RS4143094 with the letters GT. It says a slightly 17% risk higher risk. That's not slightly to me. Higher risk of colorectal cancer correlated with consumption of processed meats. Sorry. No matter what that says, I wouldn't be able to survive without meat. I naturally struggle with the B vitamins anyway. So if I were to take that away, like meat away, and fish, I'd really, really struggle to meet my daily requirements of my vitamins. I really, really would. And also I wouldn't be happy. I couldn't be happy on just vegetables. I like some vegetables, but I couldn't live my whole life without having meat. I mean, Jesus. It's a little extreme. So it says... It says where it was identified and everything, but yeah, so 17% higher risk. That's something. It says that the magnitude on this one is 2.5 and the frequency is 35.4%, so that actually quite a lot of people do have that. Yeah, so that is something I definitely need to discuss with the GP. And just one more I'm going to mention for now, and that is the RS1801133 and the letters CT. And it says 1 copy of C677T allele of the Samuel L. Jackson gene, MTHFR, equals 65% efficiency in processing folic acid is found in approximately 45% of Caucasian Americans. Wow. And then there's other ethnicities that it could, and the how often it happens. So it says here that the RS1801133 is an SNP that is relatively common and has been studied for relatively a long time. Also known as C677T and a couple of other variants. It encodes a variant in the MTHFR gene, which encodes an enzyme involved in folate drug metabolism. Homozygous RS something else. Is that the same one I have? Yeah, that gene again. Individuals have 30% of the expected MTHFR enzyme activity. Oh, so my one isn't 30%, mine is 65% activity. So that's not as bad as it could be. It's 65% efficient, which means what, like more efficient than 30% anyway. Women with the 2 copies of that gene, variant 2, which is a very rare variant, may cause homocyst. I can't read that word, it's too small. Homocystinuria. I don't think I've got that. 2 copies. It doesn't say I've got 2 copies. Yeah, it doesn't mention that. Thank God. Yeah, this is quite some serious stuff, isn't it? Like, it's pretty heavy. Those are the ones I wanted to discuss today. Oh, and just this last one, very, very last one, because it's what I've been discussing today. The RS1801131AC, I think I just said, no, I haven't said that one. Possibly impaired folate metabolism. See, I have literally just taken myself off of folic acid, high dose folic acid, prescribed from my GP, because it now measures at 20 when it should be between, say, 4.9 and 19. So slightly higher than I should be now. So I've taken myself off until I hear from the GP. Like, if I need to go back on it, I will. But as far as I'm concerned, if I've gone slightly above, then I've no need to be on it. So, so it says it's a mutation in the folate pathway, specifically in the enzyme involved in converting 5-methylfolate, 5-MTHFR, to tetrahydrofolate, THF. Defects in folate metabolism can increase the risk of neural tube defects and possibly contribute to risk of stroke, heart attack. Unlike RS1801133 or MTHFR C677T, I have that second one, this mutation does not lead to elevated homocysteine levels. However, some studies have suggested that there may be a synergistic effect in individuals heterozygous for both mutations. Oh my god, these words. Right. And then it says where it is on the gene and everything. So, that might be something I have to check out, this homocysteine levels. What does that even mean? Let's check this out really quickly. I'm going to check this out on Google. So, homocysteine. Did it say too much or too little? We'll go for too little. So we'll write deficiency. Deficiency. Oh, I spelled it slightly wrong. Okay, so it's an amino acid. Vitamins B12, B6 and folate break down. Oh, they break down homocysteine to create other chemicals your body needs. High homocysteine levels may mean you have a vitamin deficiency. Okay. Or maybe mine's high and not low. Okay, so we'll see if this... She won't check deficiency. I can't even remember what I've just read, if it means that you're deficient or do you have too much? I'm going to have to reread this stuff again. So we'll write that homocysteine... Oh, there is that word and then symptoms next to it. So we'll find out the symptoms for both high and low, hopefully. Okay, so we've got something here. What does it mean to have high? So it's got the moderate, intermediate and severe. So the elevated symptoms are, it also says it's symptoms of a B12 deficiency. Pale skin, kind of, I mean this is me with a tan, so. Weakness and fatigue I do usually have when I haven't got mania. Tingling sensations like pins and needles in the hands, arms, legs and feet. I've had this for some time. Dizziness, yes, especially on standing. Mouth sores, a lot of the time. Mood changes, bipolar. So, yeah. Symptoms of a folate deficiency, which I've literally just been treated for. Fatigue, yes. Mouth sores, yes. Tongue swelling. Unsure, possible. Growth problems. I'm an adult, so... it says symptoms of vitamin deficiency, anemia, overlap with those of B12 and folate deficiencies, also causing additional symptoms of... Wait, is this deficiency? Yeah, these are deficiencies now. So when did I go... What? Oh, it says here, hyperhomocysteemia itself usually doesn't cause any symptoms in adults, though it can in children. Symptoms can also vary from one person to the next and be subtle. Doctors may organise a homocysteine test if they suspect you have a vitamin deficiency and if you begin exhibiting symptoms of a vitamin deficiency. Right. So, the deficiency can cause all of those symptoms, including fatigue, muscle weakness, and unsteady movements. Not really unsteady movements. Pale or yellowish skin. Shortness of breath or dizziness, yes. Irregular heartbeat, yes. Numbness or tingling in hands and feet, yes. Mental confusion or forgetfulness, yes. Weight loss, no, I wish. Causes of high homocysteine levels. Well, one could be, if it is high, those 2 or 3 variants that I had. I mean, 3 variants on the same gene or mutations, none of the variants or mutations. I don't actually know what the difference between a variant and a mutation is. Maybe it's a nicer word. I don't know. It says many factors contribute to high homocysteine levels. If you have a folate or vitamin B deficiency, which I did, you may develop hyperhomocysteinemia. Big word. Other factors include low thyroid hormone levels. Like I said, borderline. Psoriasis, no. Kidney disease, not as far as I know. Certain medications, I'm not on many anymore. And genetics. Complications. If you test positive for elevated homocysteine levels, you could be at an increased risk of developing a number of health issues. Ooh. Some common conditions associated with high homocysteine levels are osteoporosis or bone thinning. Now see, I've been wondering about osteoarthritis, not osteoporosis. My back's fine. Just sometimes get like a bit of backache and that, but I think that's sometimes like if I've worn my bag too often, it can sometimes affect, or like if I sleep bad. I don't like suffer sort of like more than hours a day every single day from backache. I don't, thankfully I don't know. So osteoporosis or bone thinning. Oh god, there's so many big words. How do you even pronounce that? Atherosclerosis, or a build-up of fats and other substances in the arterial walls. Well, that sounds like something to do with cholesterol, right? My cholesterol is high. My cholesterol is actually 6.4. Don't all gasp and go, oh my god, because it is an absolutely high reading, I know. But I had given up smoking. I've been smoke-free for a little under a year now, and I kind of substituted nicotine for food, like a lot of people do. And not just good food. I was kind of eating chocolate almost every single day for months on end, so that no doubt pushed my HbA1c up to 40, and my cholesterol levels sky high. So with changing what I've been eating, making some wiser choices and limiting stuff like that, hopefully I'll ask for it to be retested sort of like 2 months, 3 months from now, and it should have come down. So yeah. Right, let's get back to this. So it said about that thrombosis. That's not a good one. My mum and my nan, actually, just on my mother's side, have blood clots. So yeah, venous thrombosis, blood clot in the veins. They had DVTs, I'm sure. Heart attack, Jesus. Coronary artery disease, stroke, dementia, Alzheimer's. Jesus Christ. Wow. Whoa. That's probably why it's good, actually, doing these Promethease, 23andMe, all that sort of health stuff. Because then you can see that you've got these genetic predispositions, or however you pronounce it. You can see you've got a higher chance genetically of having these things. So then you can make the right choices so that you can make it less, you know. So say for example you're 10 times more likely to have this or have that, and a lot of it's diet related, well then sort of like now I'm in my late 30s, so if I make those act on those bad choices now, I could probably like halve that. It's the power of knowledge. It's knowing, right, I'm at a high risk of this. If I change this, change that, don't do this, don't do that, or limit, then I'm bringing my likelihood of getting it down even lower. So it'll still be higher than the average person, but it'll be way lower than like 10 times the likelihood. So yeah, knowledge is power. I think like I can be a little bit of a hypochondriac, to be fair. Not like ridiculously so, but I am health conscious, as in like if I'm symptomatic of any kind, I do Dr. Google. I do. But then, although that can be bad because you start worrying yourself, thinking, oh no, it could be this or it could be that, it's actually good, because then, say if the GP, like you've gone to the GP about a list of symptoms and they're like, right, we'll do all this blood work, and then almost all of it comes back normal, or all of it comes back normal, you could say, and they say, well, everything's come back fine, say, well, you know, would you mind adding in this test or that test just because of this or that? Well, armed with this information, I could then say, well, I've got this variant, which puts me at a higher susceptibility to this. Would you mind if we tested, say, for example, if I do struggle to process or like the B vitamins, an active B12 rather than a complete B12. No, not complete, you know what I mean. Like when they test the B12 levels, that includes active and inactive, whereas if I ask for an active B12, that would then give a much clearer picture, wouldn't it? So yeah, so that's all I'm covering today. Like I said, I've got loads and loads. Those are the ones that were mostly concerning me, that I feel could be impacting me now. So I will probably do another video at some point, maybe discussing more of the reds, and then we'll do a whole one on the greens. So all positive when we do the green ones. So yeah, in case you follow my other videos, my health vlog, where I just basically just talk through the health problems I'm going through, both physical and mental health, and you can see that I've done this video today and I did one earlier, but I'm wearing two different tops. It's because that's the way I remember which video is which. Is I try to wear a different one, so I know, oh right, that's the one about this from this week, that's the one about that from that week. I can see at a glance, oh yeah, it's that one I've got to upload. So this just makes my life easier. I literally just switched to it just before doing the video, and I had a little extra energy, so I thought, you know what, we'll do this video now, get it out there. And I have to go now because it's been 33 minutes, and as you know, if you do follow my health one, I try to limit my videos to 20 minutes, but because this is a new sort of like subject, I guess, I wanted to, well, I got a little carried away. And I've let a whole cup of tea go to waste. I can't believe that. It's gone stone cold. Depressing. Okay, well, I'm going to make another cup of tea. Thank you for joining me. Have you used Promethease? Have you used 23andMe, Ancestry? Are there any other websites like this where you can upload your raw data and get health data? If so, where are they? How much are they? Have you used any of them? Please discuss below. Until then, take care, and I will see you when I see you. Bye for now.